Hello, Jason Carter here. Welcome back to episode 2 of 12 to 23. The journey where I transition between a 12-string harp guitar and a 23-string harp guitar. The previous one having 6 bass strings, 6 guitar strings. This one having 7 bass strings, 6 guitar strings and 10 lovely steel super treble strings. Now, part of this journey is to compose new pieces, which I'm loving, and I'm in the middle of doing that. But the other part of the journey is to see how the old pieces work with 11 extra strings. And in some cases, I'm finding I need to or want to work out how to pick out the melodies in the trebles. But this piece just worked straight away. It was such fun to play it at Sean's house, the guitar maker's house in France, when I first got the guitar a couple of weeks ago. And the guitar resonates so much with all these extra strings. And so just playing the guitar part, you get this sort of cathedral effect, which is really beautiful. I think my most memorable time of playing this particular piece of music, The Colour of Silence, was on stage in North Korea in 2007. I played in the Opera House, and it was a real challenge for the North Korean government to allow me to play this piece and other pieces because it was so unusual and so different, and they were not sure of the message, if you like. Bearing in mind that North Koreans are only used to full orchestra, double choir, military, praise their leader kind of music with a communist message. And so this has none of that, of course. It's the opposite, the antithesis, if you like. As a musician, I really search for that moment when you bring the audience towards you as a performer. And that almost always happens when you play something still and quiet, because it sort of lends itself to bringing people towards you as opposed to pushing away from you. And so for me, a successful composition is something that has that, and I gear my compositions around performance. So to sit on stage in North Korea and start something really quietly and repetitive was quite a challenge, I think, for the audience, but they entered it very well. And so I remember sitting there, playing as quietly as possible and waiting for that moment when the audience was in on the journey with me. And once they were in, I then carried on. And in some countries and some cultures it takes longer, and in others it takes less time. But I remember in North Korea, I think I must have played this introduction part for possibly 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, because I was waiting for everyone to settle down and to come towards me. And so this is kind of a new arrangement with extra strings of The Colour of Silence. Thank you. I'm still getting used to this. The string spacing on the guitar part is much closer, and normally my hand would float around this area freely, so I'd get sort of my thumb in the right place. And now the strings are there, so I've got no space for that. So I'm still adjusting my technique on my right hand to accommodate the lack of space here, but it's coming along. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.